She said she needed space, that she had to find herself. But walking out of a relationship doesn't mean walking away from your own patterns. The problem seemed to be him, but the emptiness? That was already there. Now she posts smiles, parties, and quotes about peace. But she goes to bed exhausted from trying so hard to prove she's fine. Because freedom without emotional regulation, it's just noise in disguise, and distraction is a filtered kind of escape. You think she left to feel lighter, but she's just trying not to fall apart. You believe she's out there living her best life, but her nervous system is still on high alert, just like it was in the relationship. She wanted peace, but found overstimulation. And let's just be real for a second. The truth after she leaves isn't freedom. It's distraction. But before you rush to the comments to defend her, or maybe criticize her choices, let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly free and at peace at the same time? Not busy, not numb, not pretending, just free and calm inside. Because that's what this is about, not just her leaving, but what really happens after. The part no one talks about, the part she doesn't post. She's not better. She's just too busy to notice she's still hurting. The excitement of a fresh start? It's often just a clever way to cover up the collapse that hasn't healed yet. Because leaving a relationship doesn't erase your triggers. It just changes the scenery where they show up. She says she's at peace, but still gets anxious when her phone lights up. She says she's living her best life, but she distracts herself even from her own breathing. It looks like letting go was the solution, but deep down, what she really wanted was to be seen, to be felt, to have someone notice the pain she didn't know how to name. Society calls this freedom. But those who've actually lived through emotional emptiness know the truth. It's not about a lack of love. It's about nervous systems trying to survive chaos. If she comes off as cold, it's not because she's over it. It's because feeling hurts more than pretending. Yes, she walked away. But has she come back to herself? That's the part no one talks about. The fact that she's not detached, she's dysregulated. If this sounds familiar, if you feel this in your chest, hit that subscribe button and stay with me. Don't wait. Don't scroll. This space is for people who feel too much and don't know what to do with it. Send this video to that person who looks like they've got it all together, but deep down, you know they're holding it all in. She doesn't realize it yet. But her body knows. Her nervous system knows. Before her brain can even catch up, her body is already reacting. That urge to start over isn't always about growth. Sometimes it's just survival. See, when you grow up emotionally disconnected from yourself, absence doesn't feel like peace. It feels like threat. What looks like freedom is often just her body chasing emotional regulation through overstimulation. More plans, more people, more noise. Because the silence? It's too loud to sit with. This is what happens when anxious attachment meets unresolved emotional trauma. She doesn't know how to rest in her own presence. Stillness feels like abandonment, so she fills the space. If it's not him, it's someone else. And if not someone, it's something. Social media, work, hookups, shopping, anything that keeps the feelings away. Research shows that 47% of people have anxious attachment patterns and 26% are avoidant. In other words, most of us aren't handling heartbreak with peace. We're handling it with coping mechanisms. And here's what that creates: rushed connections, silent pullbacks, fake emotional independence. She's not cold. She's overstimulated. Every time she tries to sit still, the anxiety kicks in, because to feel means to face. That's why so many women, after a breakup, don't rest. They perform. It's not about proving something to others. It's about trying to convince themselves they'll be okay, even if they don't really believe it yet. And here's the part no one sees. Her pain is still alive. It's just happening in silence. She wakes up before her alarm. Not because she's motivated, but because her mind won't shut off. First thing she does? Check Instagram. Heart emojis on every story, reacting to everyone like she's present. But none of it actually lands. On WhatsApp, her replies are short, dry. She's not trying to connect, just trying not to be alone in the silence. In the group chat, she sends screenshots of her new convo with some guy. Tells her friends he's different, but checks his last scene like her nervous system is still in survival mode. She hits the gym, makes small talk with the trainer, laughs a little too loud. Then when the session ends, the silence creeps back in. At work, she overperforms. Not because she's ambitious, but because staying busy means no time to think. She scrolls through her phone during lunch, ignores messages from the people who care, and responds to half-baked invitations with maybe. She's scared of saying yes and being used, scared of saying no and feeling abandoned. At night, she gets fully dressed, full glam, new outfit, big energy. She goes out, posts that quote about healing, but rides home in silence. Staring out the window, she talks to guys she's not even into. Not because she's desperate, but because part of her thinks being desired will make the emptiness quieter. She gets home, takes off the makeup, turns off the light, and for a moment, it's just her and the truth. She wonders if he thought about her today, if he saw her story, if he misses the inside jokes, the lazy Sundays, the way she used to laugh without trying. She tries to fall asleep, whispering affirmations like armor, but her body's not buying it. Because digital presence doesn't replace emotional connection. She's not trying to go back. But she doesn't know how to move forward either. She says she doesn't care anymore. But she still plays their playlist when she's alone in the car. She says she's over it. But certain smells still shut her down. Certain places still make her flinch. The worst part? No one notices. Because she's mastered the art of looking fine, she performs normal. She posts happy. But she's still unpacking memories behind a smile. She pretends she's healed, maybe even believes it some days. But her body keeps telling a different story. Because your brain can move on, but your nervous system? It's still stuck in the last emotional conversation you never finished. So here it is. The line that stings and explains everything. She didn't leave. She just stepped off the stage. The pain didn't disappear when she walked out. It just went backstage, behind the schedule, behind the Instagram filters, behind the late-night overthinking. She's not free. She's just far enough away from the trigger to avoid the truth. But every escape comes with a cost. And hers is the silence that now lives in all the places he used to. She didn't pull away because she felt nothing. She pulled away because she felt everything and didn't know how to hold it all. She didn't jump into something new to get over it. She did it because sitting alone with her thoughts felt like drowning. She didn't post that quote to be petty. She posted it because she was begging someone, anyone, to say, "I see you." That overly loud laugh, it's not confidence, it's defense. That "I don't care" energy, it's not healing, it's burnout. That rush to move on, it's not peace, it's panic. She's not out here living her best life. She's trying to convince herself that life still has meaning without the person she gave so much of herself to. She's not trying to prove she's over him. She's trying to believe she won't fall apart without him. And maybe the most painful part? She just wanted someone to sit next to her, even when she didn't know how to explain what she was feeling. She doesn't need another relationship. She needs a space where she doesn't have to pretend she's okay all the time. Here's what most people miss. She didn't leave because she stopped loving. She left because she couldn't take the chaos inside herself anymore. She didn't run from someone. She ran from herself. She tries to explain it, but it never comes out right. Because how do you describe pain that doesn't speak in sentences? She's messy with her boundaries. Says she needs space, but checks your story 5 times in a row. Says she's done, but leaves the door unlocked. She seems hot and cold. But really, she's just overwhelmed. One part of her wants to be seen. Another part is terrified of what happens if she is. She types long paragraphs and deletes them. Then stays quiet and gets mad that no one noticed. She's not playing games. She's trying to survive a storm that even she doesn't fully understand, because her wounds don't show up in words. They show up in patterns. And here's the line you need to remember, because this is where most people get it wrong. Read the behavior. The words always show up late. She might say she's fine, but she's pulling away. She might say, "I don't care," but her energy shifts every time you do. She might be laughing, but she avoids silence like it's dangerous. If you really want to understand someone, don't just listen to what they say. Watch how they disappear. Notice what they repeat. Pay attention to when they go quiet, and why. Behavior is the nervous system trying to speak when the mind can't find the right words. She thought freedom would feel like air, but it ended up feeling like noise. She thought walking away would end the pain, but it just gave her more space to hear it louder. She filled the calendar. She filled the bed. She filled the feed. But none of it touched the part of her that was screaming to be held. And now she's here, in the middle of everyone, smiling, hustling, showing up. Still quietly asking, why do I still feel so lost? And maybe that's the hardest truth to swallow. She didn't lose herself in him. She lost herself from herself. Distraction worked for a while, but now she's tired of pretending, tired of performing, tired of feeling like she has to earn peace. She doesn't want to act strong anymore. She just wants to be allowed to feel, without falling apart. In the end, nobody runs from love. They run from the places where love turned into pain. And that's why she left, not to be happy, but to survive her own breaking point. If this sounds like you, or someone you love, don't judge the silence. Don't force a comeback, but please, don't ignore the signs. Because what looks like indifference might just be someone silently screaming for safety. If you want to keep making sense of the human mind, beyond labels, beyond cliches, subscribe now. We don't sugarcoat. We don't sell feel-good quotes. We decode the invisible. And send us to the person who looks like they've got it all together. But deep down, they're barely holding on. Because the next relationship might look different. But if she's not different, it'll just be the same story with a new face.